to see you.
This beautiful 3-year-old girl roasted to death in a steaming hot police patrol car. While it's alleged her police officer mother, Cassie Barker, was off sleeping at the home of her boss, the Sarge. The toddler's shocked and heartbroken father also alleges Cassie had an affair before with another cop.
I caught her with another officer.
But Ryan would uncover still more secrets about Cassie as he desperately searched for the truth behind the death of their daughter, Cheyenne.
I couldn't believe it.
Ryan has been inconsolable since losing the joy of his life in such a horrible way.
I haven't been able to sleep because every time I close my eyes, I keep thinking about her in the back of that car.
Cheyenne had been the apple of Ryan's eye from the day she was born.
She loved life. She was always smiling, always happy.
Cheyenne, you gonna dance?
Ryan had been a doting and devoted father, enjoying every magic moment he shared with his adorable little girl who loved animals and wanted to be a cowgirl.
Took her trick-or-treating, knock on the door, expecting to get candy. Lady's got a dog at the door, barking at the door. My daughter goes to the dog. She don't care about the candy, she wanted the animal.
But Ryan, a mechanic in Jacksonville, Florida, says he found himself playing Mr. Mom right from the beginning after Cassie suddenly developed career ambitions.
She just decided after Cheyenne was born, she wanted to be a police officer.
Ryan says he cared for their daughter for the first year of her life, while Cassie spent most of her time working for a vet through the day and going to the police academy to train at night.
So I never really saw that much of her.
And Ryan says he and Cheyenne wouldn't see Cassie at all for 3 months after she graduated from the academy and accepted a job with the Long Beach Police Department in Mississippi.
So you were essentially raising Cheyenne during that period?
Yes.
Say hi, Mommy.
Hi.
Ryan eventually moved to Mississippi so Cheyenne could be with both of her parents.
But her connection with Cassie and her connection with me was just completely different.
Why do you say that?
That's all she knew at the time growing up.
Was you?
It was me. And I know they say children don't remember a lot of things, but from the day you're born and you spend all that time with your father or you spend all that time with your mother, they're going to know that.
Ryan says he and Cassie were also having a lot of arguments, one of them particularly ugly, when they were visiting his family back in Jacksonville last Christmas.
She threw all my stuff out of the truck and took off to Mississippi with Cheyenne without me, left me here with no vehicle. I had to use my grandfather's truck to drive to Mississippi.
According to Ryan, most of the tension was caused by the amount of time Cassie spent working on the force, still rarely being with their daughter.
The only time we can actually see her is if we went to go eat lunch with her on the weekends or something.
Do you feel like she was taking it too far, this training?
Yes.
She didn't have to do everything she was doing?
No.
Ryan began to grow suspicious.
I just thought something was weird that she's working 24 hours a day.
Then, one afternoon, Ryan says he came home from work early to discover Cassie was doing more than just police work with the department.
That's when I caught her with another officer.
Did you catch them in bed?
She was in the bathroom and he was putting his pants on.
You have to be distraught.
I was. And we tried to talk about it, but she was getting ready to go to work for that shift.
So Ryan texted her later asking,
"Why are you doing this?" You know, she just says, "I'm not in love with you no more."
The couple broke up and Ryan returned to Jacksonville, leaving Cheyenne with Cassie in Mississippi.
How often after you moved back here did you get to see the baby?
Twice.
Cheyenne was supposed to have spent this past summer with her father, but he says Cassie failed to bring her to him as planned, going AWOL like she had done before.
And once again, no phone call. When it answered my calls, didn't show.
Ryan wouldn't hear from Cassie for 2 months.
I was a little worried, but I wasn't surprised because it's happened so many times before.
Did you ever worry that your daughter was being neglected and or abused?
I never would have thought that.
That is, until it was too late.
I can't even explain that feeling. When people say you go numb and you don't feel anything.
It was 10:30 in the morning when Ryan Heyer heard a knock at the front door that still echoes in his mind. as do the words of the Jacksonville officer who delivered the shocking news.
He says, I hate to tell you this, but your daughter Cheyenne has passed away. The officer himself was crying. And as soon as he said that, I can't even explain that feeling. When people say you go numb and you don't feel anything.
But the officer couldn't tell Ryan how Cheyenne died, and the grieving dad says he wasn't getting any information from Long Beach, Mississippi, where his daughter had been living with her mother, Cassie Barker, a cop with the local PD.
So you never got a call from Cassie?
No.
You never got a call from that police department?
No.
You never got a call from anyone in that community?
No.
Ryan says he called the lead detective at Long Beach Police, but he wouldn't tell him what happened to Cheyenne either.
Just that your daughter had passed away?
Yeah, it's a ongoing investigation. There's a lot of stuff that we have to get together, and as soon as we find something out, we'll let you know.
And it would be 3 agonizing days before Ryan says he finally learned from the coroner and local newspaper reporter how Cheyenne had died. That she had succumbed to the heat after being left in the back seat of her mother's hot patrol car.
And her mother's a cop, a police officer that's supposed to serve and protect. And she can't even protect her daughter.
Cassie tells police she had only planned to leave Cheyenne in the car for just a few minutes, but sadly, a few minutes turned into 4 hours.
And Ryan was horrified when he learned where the car was parked. In the driveway of Cassie's shift supervisor, Sergeant Clark Ladner, and that both of them were asleep inside the home while Cheyenne was roasting to death.
I couldn't believe it.
Cassie reportedly claimed they were only discussing a work-related matter and nodded off after a long night shift. But Ryan says he already thought the two had been having an affair back when he was still with Cassie.
Who told you?
Her phone. Text messages, I can't wait till you come back over. Sex was good, and there was actually nude photos of him and her on her phone.
Crime Watch Daily has never seen those photos, but Heyer claims he gave the material to Cassie's police chief and also told him about her alleged affair with another patrol officer he says he caught her in bed with.
And so what did he say to that?
He said he would look into it, investigate it.
Ladner and Cassie were fired from the force. And Cassie was also charged with manslaughter and the death of daughter Cheyenne. She pleaded not guilty, but Ryan is shocked his ex was released on just $50,000 bail.
She signed some paperwork, took a mug shot, and walked right back out.
Diane Ellis, an attorney Ryan hired to investigate the case, suspects the justice system in Long Beach, Mississippi may have been extending police privilege.
Do you think it was because of Cassie's title?
I believe it was. I believe it was.
Cassie claims her daughter's death was a tragic mistake, but police were about to reveal some shocking new information about the officer's past.
Cassie had been arrested on another occasion for reportedly leaving Cheyenne alone in a hot car for about 45 minutes at a shopping mall 17 months before the child's death.
This child's death was completely preventable.
But Ryan says he wasn't informed of the arrest or told the Mississippi Department of Human Services had taken his daughter away from Cassie.
Nobody picked up the phone to call you to say, hey, the mother of your child has been arrested. We have your child here. Would you like to come pick her up?
Nothing.
Do you know how long DHS had your daughter in custody?
Less than 24 hours.
And then they released her back to whom?
Gave her right back to Cassie the very next day.
Now Ryan and his attorney are trying to learn if there may have been an attempt to cover up the previous arrest, and if that may have ultimately cost Cheyenne her life.
It was either by intent or it was through gross incompetence. And I don't know which yet.
Do you think if Ryan would have been contacted during that alleged incident in 2015 that maybe he would have stepped in and taken that baby away?
I'm certain of it. I'm certain of it.
Attorney Ellis has sent letters of intent to sue the Mississippi Department of Child Protective Services and the Long Beach Police Department. But there's one factor that Ellis says makes details of Cassie's earlier hot car incident with Cheyenne difficult to uncover.
The arrest was expunged and the conviction was expunged.
Cheyenne's grief-stricken dad can't get that tragic final image of his daughter lying in her casket, out of his mind.
You seen your little girl laying there? I can't even put it into words. She's so beautiful.